Good morning, dear students. Welcome to the English class, and I am here with you to teach you a very beautiful poem, that is The Tables Turned by William Wordsworth. And in the previous class, and three stanzas so far completed, and we explained, we learn all the details about all three stanzas so far completed. And here, let me recapitulate what had happened in the previous classes. And we discussed some details about William Wordsworth, and he is considered as a nature poet, and he is also a romantic poet. And he started a romantic movement in the English literature along with his friends Samuel Coleridge, and they both published a lyrical ballad in the year 1798. And this is all about a poem, and this poem is dedicated to his friends, William Wordsworth friends, and he urges his friends to quit reading books and to know a more value about the nature. He asked his friends to quit all the books and get into the nature to learn things from the nature. And here the poem doesn't reject reading books, but here the knowledge which we get from the books is not far more than the knowledge which we get from the nature, because he treated nature as his teacher, so that he wanted to teach us that nature is our first teacher, so that we need to learn many things from the nature. And now coming to the stanza, the very first stanza of the day is: she has a world of ready health, our minds and art to bless, spontaneous wisdom breathed by the health, truth breathed by cheerfulness. Here once again let me read the stanza. She has a world of ready health, our minds and arts to bless, spontaneous wisdom breathed by health, truth breathed by cheerfulness. Here she refers to William Wordsworth addressed nature as a she. So that here she refers to the nature. So she has a world of ready wealth. So when you see, nature is filled with ready health. So there is a lot of wealth, there is a lot of wisdom, there is a lot of knowledge in the nature. This knowledge is to bless our minds and heart. So if you are willing to receive knowledge from the nature, so nature is always ever ready to provide you the knowledge which you want to survive in this world. So that nature is full of knowledge, nature is full of wisdom. So the thing is you get knowledge from the nature. You need to accept the nature knowledge, right? And spontaneous wisdom breathed by health, truth breathed by cheerfulness. You know, the nature is going to provide a good health. Nature is going to provide a good happiness. We may get to a lot of happiness when you spend most of the time under the woods, under the trees, or in the nature. Definitely, we will get to both health and happiness, along with the knowledge. So that is how nature is filled with the knowledge that is ready to provide you the knowledge if you are willing to receive it. So that you should have a willing heart to receive the knowledge from the nature that is going to provide. And besides, nature is also going to provide you a happiness, a wonderful happiness, and also a right health. So that is all about the stanza. She has a world of ready health, our minds and hearts to bless, spontaneous wisdom breathed by the truth, and breathed by health, and truth breathed by the cheerfulness. So this is all about the stanza 1. And now coming to another stanza, the summary of the another stanza is: one impulse from a vernal wood may teach you more of a man, of moral evil and of good, than all sages can. So let me read you. One impulse from a vernal wood may teach you more of a man, of moral evil and of good, than all sages can. So here, one impulse, one strong encouragement, one boost from the vernal wood. Here, vernal wood in the sense of the woods in the sense of trees. So in the time of spring season, from the nature, we get to from the woods, we get to one best impulse. That means a sort of encouragement. A sort of encouragement from the vernal wood, that means a spring season, the woods in the spring season may teach you more of a man. Here, this spring season, the trees in the spring season or the forest at the time of spring season or the nature at the time of spring season may teach you more of a man. They can teach you more than a man. And they may teach you humanity, or right humanity, what exactly the humanity is. And they may teach you what is a kindness. So this one impulse, this one strong encouragement from the vernal wood may teach you more of a man, and they of a moral and evil, of moral evil and of a good. So you may come to know what exactly the difference between the moral and evil. So what is right and wrong? So what is good and wrong? What is kindness and what is humanity? So all these can be learned by the nature, because the nature is our first teacher. Nature teaches all these things, then all sages can. So sages in the sense of saints, people who preaches something, some moral values. So even sages cannot more than nature, because nature is a teacher. So that so a lot of wisdom is spilled in the nature. So that it is our duty to spend time, instead of spending time in our rooms, in our restricted rooms with lots of books, but that is not far more valuable than the nature knowledge. So nature's wisdoms. And this is all about stanza 1 and stanza 2. Here see, she has here in this stanza we talked about that nature is filled with the knowledge. It is our duty to take nature's knowledge, and it is ready to bless our heart and minds with the knowledge, but we need to accept the nature's knowledge. And in this one, see, there is one encouragement from the vernal wood, from the forest, from the nature in the time of spring season. In the time of spring season, the knowledge we get is more value, and nature teaches us what exactly the humanity is and what exactly the kindness is, and we come to know what is right and what is wrong. So, and nature teaches more than of the sages. Here even sages cannot teach, but here nature teaches all these things. And let us continue other stanza, right? Next stanza, 7th stanza is, sweet is the law which nature brings, our meddling intellect misshapes the beauteous forms of things. We murder to dissect. We murder to dissect. Let me read you one more time. Sweet is the law which nature brings, our meddling intellects misshapes the beauteous forms of things. We murder to dissect. Here in the sense of sweet is the lore. Actually, lore is a traditional knowledge nature brings. Here that means nature, the knowledge and the wisdom in the nature are sweet. And here they provide you a mental peace to our mind. So this knowledge, a traditional knowledge from the nature, provides you a mental peace. But here our meddling intellect, here the human being always try to think the purpose of things and the objectives of things. So as we think that we wanted to see the things, the purposes and all these things, so that we misshape the beauteous forms of things with our meddling intellect, so that we wanted to pay interest on other things than the other things, attractive things, but we don't want to pay the interest, our interest in the nature, so that the beauteous forms, we misshapes the beauteous forms of things because of our intellect, our intellectuality, because of our wisdom which we get from the books. So here we wanted to dissect, that means we reject to get the knowledge from the nature, but we try to get knowledge from the attractive things. So that is what exactly sweet is the lore which nature brings, our meddling intellect misshapes the beauteous forms of the things we wanted to dissect. Here we are not willing to get a knowledge from the nature because of our meddling intellect in the sense we pay interest on other things in the sense attractive things than the things we get from the nature. So that is all about stanza number 7. And now coming to the enough of science and of arts. Enough of science and of arts. Close up those barren leaves. Come forth, bring with you a heart that watches and receives. This is the last stanza of the poem, The Table Turned. Here we know we divided. We have many philosophies. We have many subjects to be learnt. So here, enough of science and arts, as we are the students. In intermediate, we may study science and arts. Here science and arts are philosophies. So we should leave this philosophy of science and arts. We no need to read. We no longer read science and arts. Close up those barren leaves. Here, the barren leaves are books. Here the barren leaves, the word barren leaves compared to a books. Close up those barren leaves. That means unfertile knowledge which we get from the books. So that to close up those unbarren leaves. Come forth, come forward, come into the nature and bring with your heart. You come with your heart that receives, that watches and receives the knowledge which we get from the nature. So that here, simply in the last stanza, the summary of the last stanza is to quit all the books, quit all the philosophies, quit science and arts. So you come forward into the nature, and you come forward into the nature with a good heart that receives and watches the nature knowledge. So here we should open mind, we should open our heart in the field of the nature. We must open our heart to enjoy the beauty of the nature, to enjoy the knowledge and the wisdom that we get from the nature. Enough of all these things, you no longer read arts and science. These are the barren leaves in the sense not valuable ones, not good things, unfertile things, which has no knowledge in them. So that this is all about poem, The Table Turned. So let me tell you all these things, that the poem is a dedicated poem. It is dedicated to its friends, and he urges his friends to quit from the books. But here the poet says that it doesn't oppose the knowledge from the books. But here the knowledge which we get from the books is not far more valuable than the knowledge we get from the nature. So that here he urged his friends to quit all the books, because he may get some sort of toil and turmoil from reading books, because from the books makes a man trouble. So that he just asked his friends to quit all the books and to focus on the nature, that from the to knowledge from the nature. Thank you all of you. Thank you very much.